if you talk about the heading, okay, so design thinking, it is basically a framework for innovation. Now, of course, design thinking can be used in multiple contexts. As Renju rightly mentioned, that design thinking can be used in education, improving the educational methodology. However, if you talk about industry, design thinking is extensively used for bringing out the innovation. Okay, even in education also, you can bring a lot of innovation. So the first is the world is full of problems. Every minute, every second, okay, we are coming with the new problems. Am I right? So earlier, okay, maybe 2 years back, okay, we actually confronted with the biggest challenge, okay, coronavirus, a virus which cannot be seen through the eyes, okay, which completely drastically changed our life, how we live, how we eat, how we work, everything was get changed. Now we felt that, okay, after Corona, the business will get improved, but then new challenges or new problems came. There is a war between Russia and Ukraine. Now we are saying about recession. No. So the problems is like, it is like you are going to the sea, okay, you see, okay, one wave coming in, okay, then after that, okay, then another wave coming up. So it is constantly or permanently it is coming up. So Albert Einstein once said that we cannot solve the problem with the same thinking we used when we created. Now, second, okay, we are working in we are living in a world called VUCA. So it is highly volatile. Okay, the business is volatile, market is volatile, customers are volatile. Okay, we cannot trust anyone. Okay, I mean the trust in the sense, I mean the business. Okay, we cannot have any kind of certainty. Okay, that is goes to a second stage called uncertainty. Then business is very complex. Okay, so new and new technologies coming up every second. New and new technologies coming up. Old technology is getting, okay, outdated. Every company is bombarded with a lot of data. We talk about big data. We talk about, okay, in seconds you are coming with the trillions of megabytes of data. Now, ambiguous. What is the difference between uncertain and ambiguous? It looks almost similar, but there is a lot of difference in that. Uncertainty and ambiguous. Now, uncertain, let me give an example. Okay, so when the corona actually hit the world in the initial stages, so it was completely uncertainty. We don't know how this virus is going to behave. We don't know what will be the impact of virus in human. So the people felt that, okay, because of this coronavirus, a larger portion of the society or population will get eradicated. Okay, so there was only one option. Okay, so all throughout the world, okay, everywhere, okay, only one option was there: complete lockdown. So we had first lockdown, second lockdown, third lockdown, because we don't know what is this virus all about. We don't know how this virus is going to impact. We don't know what is the impact of this virus. No data, nothing is certain. Now, after some time, we started slowly studying about this virus. We understand the DNA of the virus. We understand how it is going to impact the human body. So we have a lot of data. Okay. However, being said that, we came out with the vaccines also. However, now the virus is getting a lot of mutations. I mean, the latest, okay, the Chinese, I mean, in China, there is a new mutant is already been there. Even though we invented virus, we invented the vaccine, okay, still we are not able to clearly identify, okay, what will be the impact or what will be the outcome of this particular vaccine or particular virus. So we have a data, but we are not clear about the outcome. So that is the difference between uncertainty and ambiguous. Now, third, responding to the customer expectation. Have you heard about a concept called product lifecycle? At any point of him, what is that? So just like a human life, okay, we started as an infant, okay, then we go into the teenage, okay, then youth, okay, middle age, okay, then old age, and then we will die. Every product have its own life cycle. Okay, so if you can see this graph, okay, I mean the vertical axis talks about sales and the horizontal axis talks about time. So whenever a new product is being launched, okay, the sales will be very less because customers are not aware about this particular product. There's no lot of initiatives regarding marketing needs to be taken by the company. After some time, when the customers are aware about the product, okay, they start buying. So there will be a huge growth will be happening. Then after some time, what happens? Okay, there will be a new products coming up. There will be a substitute, or there will be no competitors coming for that particular product. So they will reach to a stage where slowly after some time, the sales will start declining. Okay. Now, what will be product extension? Any idea what will be product extension? In order to extend the product life cycle, okay, the companies make some modifications in the product. For example, Alto have been into the existence for the last 20 years. So whatever they do is Suzuki, after 3 or 4 years, they make some modifications in the model so that it brings some kind of new freshness in that particular product. So they do something called product extension. So this maturity can be extended. Now it can be done organically and it can be done inorganically. So organically, you are making some modifications in your own product. Inorganically, let me give an example. Okay, now when Facebook launched in the market, they were the market leader, but after some time they faced stiff competition from Instagram and WhatsApp because of a lot of personalization and other security reasons. So what did Facebook did? They actually felt that their product is slowly getting matured and it is getting declined. So they acquired Instagram and they acquired WhatsApp, so that this product lifecycle is getting extended. Now, earlier days, when a product is being launched, the product lifecycle is comparatively longer. So I don't know whether you have seen this model or you use this model. So I used it during my college days. Okay, so 3310 and 2100. So Nokia was a market leader for almost 15 to undisputed market leader for almost 15 to 20 years. Okay, and these two models, I think no other model has sold such kind of numbers, okay, by any other manufacturer. What happened to Nokia? What happened with Nokia was they overestimate the strength of their brand. Okay, they were become lazy with their success. They felt that, okay, as far as we launch any product, people will buy it, but the customers' tastes and preferences were changing. So they never thought that, okay, people will slowly switch to a QWERTY, people will slowly switch to a more friendly operating system or affordable operating systems like Android. Okay. However, another company, Samsung, which identified the taste changing the taste and preference of the customers, they launched smartphones with Android platforms. So they become slowly they become the leader, and Nokia was completely gone out of the market. Now the challenge for the company is the product life cycle is getting shorter and shorter. Okay. Earlier, okay, you may be knowing that Apple used to launch 1 or 2 models of mobiles every year. And people were very eager to buy that particular new models. Now Apple is forced to launch 3 or 4 models every year because customers' expectations are changing at a very faster pace. That is one challenge. Now, second challenge for the company is how fast they can bring the innovation or how fast they can make changes in the market. If they actually delay the innovation, okay, there can be probably a lot of competitors, okay, are doing the research and they will come out with their, they will get the first mover advantage. So Honda, okay, in early days, they used to take around 5 years to develop a new car. Then in 1990s, it was reduced to 3 years. Now it is less than 1 year. HP, who is a leader in the printing business, okay, they used to take around 4.5 years. Okay, now they can make printers within 2 to 3 months. Now the challenge for the company is two manifold. So one is customers' taste and preferences is changing very fast. They need to understand what is the new taste preferences of the customers. Second, they need to develop a product and they need to launch the product, okay, as early as possible. Otherwise, they will lose in the market. So that is why, okay, innovation is very, very critical. Now there are different kinds of innovation. So we can call it as a product innovation, okay, which is related to changes in the product. Process innovation talks about changes in the process. Okay, there are a lot of process which involves Six Sigma, okay, or you talk about Kaizen. A lot of process innovation can be both. Marketing innovation. So I shared an example of Reliance, how they entered into the market. Organizational innovation. Okay, a lot of our companies are making a lot of innovation in their process. Okay, 360-degree feedback. Okay, and remote working, a lot of innovation. Even the company like Understanding, okay, they used to have a remote working before Corona itself. Okay, because it's significantly reduced the cost. Now, just dive deep into the innovation. We can divide the innovation into different aspects. So one is called radical innovation, incremental innovation, disruptive innovation, platform innovation, open innovation, and frugal innovation. What do you mean radical innovation? It is already in that particular word. So let me give an example. Okay, when Apple launched their mobile phones, okay, there was a big radical difference or radical innovation was there. So what was that radical innovation which helped the Apple to capture the market? So they came out with a concept of one touch, okay, where you can navigate all the features. Okay. Now, incremental innovation. So this is very simple. Or you are trying to make small changes in your product. Okay. So Alto earlier, okay, Alto had a different model. Okay, they now increase the mileage, or they made small changes in the engine so that more mileage will be there. What do you mean disruptive innovation? Disruptive. So disruptive innovation actually leads to disruption in the existing business models. Maybe that particular business model itself get vanished. So one example I shared was Nikita shared was during the COVID. Okay, there are a lot of apps, a lot of educational edtech players came into the market. Okay, the best example is Byju's. Okay, so they got a lot of VC funding. Okay, they came out with the educational products. Even my kid also bought it for 24K. Now after some time, okay, once the COVID challenge got over, okay, all the tech players which are focusing on the online education, okay, I mean, especially for the school kids, okay, that got completely disrupted. Now, let me give a better example. Okay, Netflix. Okay, Netflix is the leader in the OTT business. Now, when Netflix was launched in the market, okay, they had a different kind of business model. Okay, so their business model was delivering DVDs or VCDs. Okay, in early days we used to have only VCDs and DVDs. So they have their business is delivering this DVD and VCDs to the homes. Okay, in especially in US. So at that point of time, the Blockbuster, another company, they were the market leader. Now, Netflix is a classic example where constant innovation or design thinking is being implemented. After some time, Netflix tried to understand, okay, hey, how the customers are behaving, or what are the changes, probable changes can come into the market. So Netflix identified that the cost of internet is coming down. A lot of people are slowly switching to internet for entertainment. So in around 2008, okay, they launched something called streaming business. Okay, and even in 2009, I think they completely stopped the business of DVD as well as VCD. So everybody was actually blaming Netflix. Okay, hey, what kind of blunder you are doing? Okay, but they were actually had a lot of foresight, and they slowly started the streaming business. They didn't stop at that. They constantly made a lot of innovation. Now, after some time, they realized that, okay, yeah, internet entertainment is very, very important. They found out that a lot of people are going to movie theaters, okay, and why don't we capture that market? So they launched their own movie houses. I mean, their own production houses. And if you very specifically watch Netflix, most of the Netflix series is very provocative in nature. Okay, people, I mean, they after their survey, they understood that people love such kind of provocative series, and that can be seen in their own convenient time. Okay, just like maybe normally for other, I mean, cable. Okay, the cable channels. Okay, they have a fixed time, but this, okay, they can see at their own convenient time. Slowly, what happened? Okay, this business model become disrupted. The delivery of DVD. Blockbuster become bankrupt. Netflix business soared like anything. Now they are the leader in the market. So this is what we call as disruptive innovation. What is a platform innovation? So basically, what it means is a software platform. Okay. So this is getting a lot of innovation. For example, when Google launched, they launched only with Gmail. Okay, so they made a lot of innovations in that Google. Okay, so you have a Google Meet. Okay, you have a Google Analytics. You have a Google Optimize. Okay, you have a Google Dashboard. Okay, you have a Google Jamboard. Okay, so a lot of innovations is happening in the platform. Okay, for example, Facebook, they started with social media networking, okay, where you can actually connect with your friends. Then they started chat, okay, then they started live streaming. Then they just started with something called giving advertisement through Facebook, okay. WhatsApp, okay, even you can make payment through the WhatsApp. So there is a lot of innovations happening in the SaaS product, I mean the software as a service products or a web platforms. So that is a platform innovation. Now there is something called open innovation. What do you mean open innovation? Normally all the innovations comes at cost. And that is justifiable also. For example, when vaccines were introduced, that is the need of the human. But they put a lot of money for the research and development. Am I right? So obviously they need to get a return on that. So a lot of innovations come with a cost. But in a lot of cases, that innovation is open to the public without any charge. For example, Linux. Okay, when Microsoft charges a huge amount for the operating system, Linux is a free. Okay, and there are a lot of open platforms where you can actually bring out a lot of innovations. So that is open innovation. What is frugal innovation? Any idea? So this may not involve much in technology. This may be a very small changes in the existing model, and it may be very cost effective. And you know, Indians are very famous for a lot of frugal innovations. You might have seen a lot of WhatsApp okay, posters regarding the frugal innovation. So this is one frugal innovation. Okay, you know, in northern parts of India, there are a lot of poor people who cannot afford the refrigerator. So this guy, okay, Manshuk Prajapati, he came out with a refrigerator which does not require an electricity. So, you know, in the olden days, okay, we used to okay store in the clay pots. Okay, so this is the concept is behind this clay pots. And in rural areas, people does not want to keep the food for a week, unlike in urban areas. They maximum they want to keep the food for 1 or 2 days. Okay, and that purpose is being served at a cheaper cost. So the name is Mitty Cool. I guess he got a lot of awards, even from Discovery Channel. So this is another innovation. So can you tell me what is this innovation all about? So I mean, their effort is being reduced dramatically. So this is what we call as frugal innovation. Okay, it may not you cannot file for a patent or an IP, but the impact is very high, and the quality is also very cost effective. So we have seen what are the different kind of innovation. Now let us start with what is design thinking. Okay. Now, what do you understand by design thinking? What is your understanding about design thinking? Now, so there are a lot of techniques available for problem solving. Okay, there are something called six thinking hat, fishbone diagram. Now, why design thinking is important, or why design thinking is differentiated from other problem solving techniques? Because design thinking is obsessed with understanding the needs of the customers, expectations of the customer. They try to bring out, okay, what is the frustrations of the customers. Okay, sometimes the customer may be able to reveal it, sometimes customer may not be able to reveal it. So design thinking go beyond a traditional market research. You know, in the traditional market research, you give a survey, okay, the customer will share the feedback, okay, share the responses. But most of the cases, we will not be able to understand clearly what is actually the requirement, what is the exact pain points of the customer. So whenever you design a product or whenever you create a curriculum, you should be the core or heart of that product or services should be the user itself. Unless and otherwise, if you are not catered to the needs of the users, the product will not be able to cater to their requirements. So that is the basic difference of design thinking with the other problem solving methods. Now, there are a couple of things. Okay, I'll just add upon about design thinking. Now, design thinking is less about thinking and more about doing. Okay, so let me share an example. Do you know how to ride a bicycle? Assume that, okay, I have given a bicycle to you and you are not using bicycle for last 10 to 20 years. Assume that you are not using the bicycle for last 20 years. Now, if I give a bicycle to you, will you be able to ride it without much challenges? Maximum, maybe you may have around difficulty for 15 to 20 minutes, but you'll be able to catch it up. Okay. Now, let me ask another question. Okay. Whether both of you remember one poem you studied during the nursery classes, Tingle Tingle Little Star? If I ask you to recollect one poem from the 10th standard, will you be able to remember? Now, let me actually come to both examples. Okay. Now, you are still able to remember Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Okay. And you study Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when you don't know about the meaning of the words. Okay. You don't know the grammatical construction. But in the 10th standard, okay, you know the words, you know the grammatical construction. Okay. But you find it a little bit difficult to recollect that poem. Why it is so? Why you are able to remember Twinkle Twinkle Little Star now also? Or other case, okay, even though you are not riding the bicycle for 15 to 20 years, if I give a bicycle without much difficulty, you will be able to ride it. Why it is so? In fact, there are three kinds of learning. Okay, now we call it as a VUCA learning. So one is we can learn through seeing things. We call it as a visual learning. There is something called auditory learning. Okay, you can hear through lectures or you can hear through the words. Now there is third learning is called kinesthetic learning. You learn through practicing, or you are applying your body. In fact, our body have a lot of potential, our body have a lot of power. Okay, so whenever our learning involves, okay, whenever there is a involvement of our body in the learning will be very, very high compared to a visual learning or auditory learning. So that is why, okay, how we studied Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, our entire body was used. Am I right? Our hands was used. We used the expressions. Okay, the entire body was involved. In the case of riding a bicycle, okay, we were using body and we were using. I mean, we tried to learn it. Now, when it comes to the design thinking, how it is different from other models of problem solving. In the case of design thinking, we usually say that, okay, you are thinking through your hands. There are a lot of activities, there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of, okay, exercises, a lot of case studies. Okay, so once you go through, immerse in these kind of tools and immerse in this kind of exercise, you will naturally, okay, you can come out with a lot of solutions. Okay, so there is no question of brainstorming. Okay, of course, there will be a brainstorming, but it is more about doing a lot of activity. So that is the biggest difference. Now, Nikita asked a question, okay, why it is called design thinking? So it is, of course, in the case of design thinking, design is very important. You may be heard about UI, UX, okay. User interface is very important because that also enhances the user experience. UX is also, I mean, the actual product experience should be also really good. But design thinking is not confined along with the design, or design thinking is not confined along with the architects or designers. Okay, in the case of design thinking, we talk about the entire user experience or the product experience. So, you know, Steve Jobs, okay, he was actually, the Apple actually become the most valuable company in the world because they extensively used design thinking. And Steve Jobs were obsessed with especially about UI. He's actually a design, we can call us a design product manager. So I will just stop with this slide. Okay. So basically, I will call it as a mindset. Okay. So what kind of mindset? Before you wants to go fast, first of all, we need to slow down. Okay. So why should we slow down? Because we need to really think something. Now, in the case of design thinking, there are few things or few kinds of mindset we were saying. Okay, so one is human values. Okay, so normally, if you think about purchasing a product, okay, we purchase a product consciously or unconsciously to solve some kind of problems. Now, most of the companies, they treat customers as customer, not as a humans. So we should really make sure that, okay, the products or services we create, we should really solve the pain points of the customers, frustrations of the customer. Now, in the case of design thinking, rather than telling, okay, we will show a lot of things. We have a lot of tools. We will display that tools. The third one is embrace experimentation. So especially Indians, okay, we don't take much risk, okay, because in India, okay, the failures is considered something very bad. Okay, only through failures, okay, we can actually learn a lot of things. In the case of design thinking, we take a lot of risk, but a calculated risk. We will take a lot of simulated environment, and we learn from that simulated environment. Basically, we will go ahead with our experimentation. However, so a lot of people say that design thinking is confined only with the creativity, but it having a lot of logical sequence, logical process is there. So we'll be talking about a lot of tools like value chain analysis. Okay, we were talking about testing tools. Okay, of course, there are a lot of logical tools are there. Craft clarity. So a lot of time people does not start because initially when you approach a problem, we will not have any kind of clarity. Okay, it can be uncertain, it can be ambiguous. But when you go through a design thinking process, okay, you will able to understand or dive deep into the problem. Now, radical collaboration. Now, what do you mean radical collaboration? So design thinking is actually amalgamation of different subjects. Okay, it involves psychology, it involves marketing, it involves strategy, it involves UI, it involves UX, it involves legal, it involves finance. Okay. Especially if you're working in a company, okay, you are a glue with most of the other departments. So that is why normally people who are in the innovation, who are in the product development, they are fastly elevated as the CEOs of the companies, because they have a holistic view of an organization, just like a CEO. So best example is our Sundar Pichai. Okay, so they need to collaborate radically with the different departments. And finally, bias towards action. Okay, maybe after some time you will be bombarded with a lot of tools. Okay, you will have a lot of exercises, and we will jointly do that activities, because outcome of that immersing in that tools is you will get a lot of insights. So these are the mindsets we are talking about design thinking. So my intention, my will be, okay, after completing the entire session, okay, there will be small change in your mindset should be there. Okay. So I have seen a lot of participants shared. Okay, I mean, it is not for my session. Any design thinking, if the participants are really curious and they learn, okay, there are a lot of change in the mindset, how they see the problems, how they actually approach the work. Okay, there is a radical shift in the mindset will be there. Okay, so I think by this slide I will just stop it.